Hello, and welcome to International History Chapter 1.3, which is Japan coming to power. So, last videos was Chapter 1.1 and Chapter 1.2, where we saw imperialism and how imperialism affected relations, and a bit on how China was really weak. So, now let's talk about Japan, okay? So, first, let's talk about Russian expansion, because Russia is really close. Like, Russia is here, and Japan's, like, right here, right? Russia is really close to Japan, so I'm sorry. They ended up being, important in this. So, remember how Japan won the first Sino-Japanese war because, well, you guys will see this in later videos, but while China was really weak because of the isolationist policy, Japan actually decided to modernize and not try to stay traditional, so they're way stronger than China, which is why they were able to win so easily because, Japan had modern weapons, China didn't. They haven't fought in thousands of years. Anyways, so remember they won that land that they got over the Korean peninsula? Yeah. Russia doesn't like that because they wanted the Korean peninsula, especially Port Arthur, because of how good of a trading port it is. So, we have Russia here, this is France, and then this is Germany. Now, what is Russia, France, and Germany doing together, you might ask? Well, guys, this is, all of these, called the Triple Intervention, okay? Which is basically an alliance between them. And so, them as a gang, they just came up to, why can I draw an arrow? They came up to Japan and they were like, hey, if you don't give us that land, we're gonna fight you. Now, even though Japan was powerful-ish at the time, they didn't want to test out losing their army to Russia, France, and Germany. Okay? All three of them? No, that'd be crazy. So, Russia took that land. So, I'm sorry. Anyways, so now what's going on with Britain during all of this? Because remember, Britain is like the strongest country in the world right now. They decided to go isolationist, but even though they're in splendid isolation, completely isolation by anyone, which actually did work out for a bit, they decided to make an alliance with Japan, which is the Anglo-Japanese alliance. And that was just because, well, Japan was strong in this side of the world, and Britain was strong in this side of the world, so they decided to make a treaty just in case if anything happens. Like, just in case. But let's get past that a little bit. So let's go to the Russo-Japanese War. Now, I'm not sure if you guys remember last time I said that the second name in a war title is always the person that wins. Japan won this one, surprisingly. They've been isolated, but they were still able to win. How? Okay. Well, they didn't plan a war. This is obviously with these small text. But basically, Japan wanted to actually have like a whole like, hey, Russia, let's make a quick treaty, blah, blah, blah. Like, we can share the land, da, da, da. And Russia said no, because Russia was a big country. So Japan went to war. Here's the thing. Let's imagine the land they were fighting over is right here. Japan's here. Russia is farther away. Like, okay, let's say that this is land. This is not how it looks. But you see, Japan really close to this, right? Japan is really close to this land. Russia wasn't, okay? Because in between them was China, okay? They couldn't go directly through China, so they had to go, like, around China. So imagine, like, Russia's, like, here, right? So they had to go around China to get to this, like, piece of land here when Japan was right here. Okay, this is kind of an awkward map, but Japan, land they wanted, China, Russia. Their escape route. Okay? They had a very long way to go, and it was very cold, and Japan was also really strong. So Japan won this war. It took, like, a while because Russia didn't even get to, like, the correct fighting place. It took them a long time because they also got hit with the cold, because I'm not sure if you noticed, Russia's really cold and it's a lot of cold land, so it was terrible for them. Anyways, so Japan won that and they got their land back. And so now let's skip to Japan in World War II. So Japan in World War II is well, I'm not sure if you guys remember, this guy's Germany all the time. Germany and Japan were fighting, which is the only reason why they joined World War. Did I say World War II? I meant to say World War One. The only reason why they joined World War One is because, like, okay, remember Japan? Let me actually do this with a different color so you guys don't get confused. Sorry. So Japan is this little, like, island here. They have a bunch of islands near them, right? Which they colonize because they can, because of how powerful they are. And so Germany, he gets over here, and then he's like, hey, let's start taking some of, let's start taking some of this land. So Japan gets pissed. Japan's like, no. And the only reason they join is to defend their little islands, which isn't that big of a deal. And so, and hi, this is China. This is a little guy named China. So during the First World War One, they're also invading China at the same time, because they want, they want more land, and they want to imperialize, and they want more money. So they invade China because China's right next to them, and they already had Port Arthur in Manchuria. So they invade, causing the Second Sino-Japanese War, which again they win. So after they win, they ask for the 21 demands, which is a really long list of demands, which basically is just like, hey, listen to us. We have a lot of power over you guys, and you guys can't do anything about it. And so China had nothing to do but agree. They just said, like, yes. They said yes and just went along with their day, because China, again, was really weak. Another thing that Japan did during World War One was also, like, the USA followed the same thing, where it's like, since USA gets involved in World War One a lot later, and so does Japan. Japan isn't that important. Like, Japan's not in the main fights. They're gonna fight against Germany. So what they do is they kind of stand in the back of the room, and while everyone else is weak, because, well, I said war, it costs a lot of money and a lot of resources too. So they also they just, like, build their own economy by having industries and making stuff. Like, let's say for war, imagine they for war they turn, like, okay, let's say Britain turns one of their car factories into, like, a gun making factory. I don't know how that would work, but let's just say that, like, everything's into war materials now, everything's about the war. And so their economy is kind of really bad because they're just getting a bunch of loans from the USA to power the war right now. And so what Japan does is, like, okay, you guys don't have any more car factories because you guys are worried on the war. We will make car factories and supply to you guys. So that's basically what they did. They took all of the markets in most of Europe, and so did the USA. So after World War One, they're actually stupid wealthy and modernized and very well off. But that is all for 1.3. 1.3 is a really short one, I know. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Be back for 1.4.